G'day, today we are playing some more Oxygen Not Included, where we attempt to route water correctly. Definitely our focus today is going to be removing as much of the stuff we can in here and routing that water. So thank you to those that tried to explain, and I say tried to because you did explain it, but whether I understand it, that's what we're about to find out. Okay, so what we want is... as best as I'm understanding this, is that bridging. So this is the way it was explained. Excuse me, one way. Bridging off a pipe water will always take the bridge route if there's space on the other side of the bridge. Bridging into a pipe, a bridge leading into a pipe act like a yield sign. Water coming through the bridge will always wait. So that's what I'm hearing, or the logic rather that I'm going off. So, for example, this guy here. We want this here to be his priority tube. And we want this here to be his non-priority tube. Now, I've got liquid going nowhere, so this tube here and this bridge that jumps in here doesn't go anywhere, so we don't need to worry about that. So what we want is... So I think that all we would have to do is just put a pipe that runs... This is radiant, isn't it? It's insulated. Not sure that necessarily matters. If we ran that, say, straight across here, and then put a pipe, a liquid bridge there. Just take this quickly as well, because this is the way someone else wrote it. White port tells water to always go in if there's space. Green port always tells water to only go in if there is a space. So same logic as what the other explanation was there. So this is the bottom of this line as well. So this water just runs down to here. So once this is built, I can delete this and we can test to make sure that this is operating correctly. And it would be that we disconnect it from there. So let's speed things up a little bit. We are still experiencing the problem of having our shut. We are hopefully on the path of better things. So we can see we're currently all full now, courtesy of no power in there. Although I guess we did also bring some in from here. Guess let's take some bristleberries. Definitely a question mark on the efficiency of where they're going. And I've still got obviously more comments to read, but at the moment we're just focusing on this side of things. Okay, so that's built. So, with that built, that's nice and quick. What we can do is we can say, not the conductive wire, the insulated liquid pipe, deconstruct that. Wait for someone... anyone to wander over and get that done. Here we go. Okay. Doesn't help that the thing currently isn't powered. But I think that we do want to wait for this to get powered and just test the theory of this setup before we sort of spread it to the other one as well. No rush. There's a water over here too. Come on, I want to see it. Just crank things up till we get electricity going again. Oh, floated there for a moment. Okay, so let's slow things down while it's going, so we get there in time. Okay, perfect. So you can see that all the liquid that was in this section cleared before any liquid from this section came through. Now currently, though, for some reason nothing's going north. Oh, sorry, it's not going north because that's jammed anyway. And we can see that all of this wasn't cool enough because obviously this stuff coming from the bottom's hotter. And so now it will line up. And while it's waiting to line up, this guy will push through again. So current conclusion is that that's doing exactly what we want it to do. Just we currently need water. Power. So let's deconstruct that guy as well. Cancel that. Change my mind with that. I think that what we want to do actually is go... Logically, we want to actually do that. And then say... Deconstruct this guy. Because then all the liquid in that pipe can clean out. We'll say cancel those two, because it's just because they're different types of pipe that it... Let's say just copy that and do that. So it's one piece of pipe. And it should take a few cycles of this stuff sort of clearing through. I mean, the major problem here at the moment is just the fact that it's not moving. And you can see that he's now going to dump that water, which we don't really want. But purely the problem is just that this is not getting power. That won't happen in a world where it's actually got power. Great. Okay, so you can see that the water's now going to flow through this thing, which is basically what we want to do. We want to get all of that out of there. May as well save it. Okay, so I don't even remember actually looking at the date. Not you. This guy. 10 cycles. So we're getting close. Let's speed things up again. Let's try and work towards those 10. Okay. But I am happy with the layout down here. So we have to wait for that to clear to get that out. Man, what a mess this thing now looks like. Okay. So, same pipe. This guy. There we go. So you can see that those two are sharing. That's fine. That's just sort of getting that last bit of water out of there. It'll cycle through. This liquid here does not move. 100% of that comes back through this way while there's available space. Annoyingly, because he keeps stopping, it just means that we're throwing away water that has been cooled once. But until this actually, like, obviously this here is causing part of that, as well as just the power shutting down. But apart from that, see perfectly, the system has worked. Plenty of water is getting through here as well, so it is sufficiently cooling water. All of that's having a second go through, so we'll cool more water. Again, we just need power. Okay, so that also means that we can now say deconstruct these liquid pipes, those liquid pipes, those liquid pipes. We are just going to get stuff out of there as we can get it out too, just so we can make sense of all this a bit better too. Now, with that gone, what we want is this pipe that is being pumped up. Currently, you can see it goes through there, up here, and then ultimately ends there, which is not what we want. What we want is that. So we're going to say deconstruct this guy. And build that. So basically it means the end of the line of this thing will go all the way up to there. Now because that exists, it means that we can say deconstruct this guy he's an insane priority, so, I mean, we won't slow, we'll just let Stinky get to it. And we can then, again, look at plumbing and say deconstruct, and we want to get rid of everything this guy. A lot of that will just fall back into the water. So that's fine. We've just got to make sure we grab these 4 spots that are all still under there. So I'll say deconstruct him. Where was the other one in there? I can't see him. Let's worry about those 2. Deconstruct him. And... no, one too high. Alright, we'll just worry about them getting gone. Okay, so while that's happening, next up we have the awkward little mess that is this guy's layout. He's getting... so this is the pipe here that he needs to have connected. Oh, wait, what if I just connected the wrong thing? Yes. I've connected this one. Okay. So, let's correct that. And what we'll do is we'll just run this guy straight across there. And then straight up there. And then we can say deconstruct 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deconstruct him too. Let's clear out some of that as well. So it was... what's that coming from? I don't think I need any of that anymore either. So I go deconstruct that. That. I don't think any of this is needed. So we can say deconstruct that. Deconstruct him. Deconstruct that. Gotta work. I can't remember if I had a solution for what I wanted to happen with this pipe here. I think in practice it's meant to be that that never overflows because it's always got... it's got 100% of the priority. There should never be, like... if you assumed that 100% of the water going through here wasn't being cooled, and what would happen is that would flow into here and it would just fill that up. So this should never fully block because this will never add more than what this can sort of hand off. Right? In a world where it's actually constantly running, at least. Let's not worry about him for now. Let's worry about the next step of this thing. So... it's currently running the wrong way. Okay, so let's say deconstruct and get rid of those 2. As well as... let's try and get rid of all of this mess here. All of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of our extra steam project. Don't need those guys. Deconstruct him. Deconstruct that guy. Deconstruct that guy. Deconstruct that guy. Alright, plumbing wise, how are we looking now? This guy? So this is currently just on a really messy, pointless double split. This is a 50% split, and then that's the 100% split there. I honestly think I just want to remove all of this and then just redesign what we've got going over here because it's a mess. So let's go deconstruct that, jump back into the pipe, pause for a second, and we'll say, I mean, this guy's turning off half the time anyway, so let's just figure it out. Deconstruct all of that. Deconstruct... Let's deconstruct all of that too. Though I think some of that will cause water to drop down. Let's deconstruct him too. It's sort of the main priority, because then that might stop them from flooding. But I mean, I don't think anything's going to stop these guys from doing some lovely hectic flooding. Sweep up everything we got in there. Really want to get this out of here before we make too much water in there that they can't sweep it. There are like 20 people in this, and I always feel it's just Stinky's the only one that ever really shows up to get the hard work done. Okay, we could say deconstruct that guy too. We may as well deconstruct some of the other stuff in this area too, just because it's copper or it's iron or it's lead. It's things that we do like to use. Are getting low on. Amount of time this has taken. Knocked off another day. Okay. Insulated pipe. So we want to go. This guy can run. No, what pipe are you? Because it's this pipe here. That's our preference. You're that pipe. Okay, so let's say this guy runs straight up here. Tiniest little bit. This runs up this way. And then here we have the bridge connect on. No. Cancel. That actually, there's nothing wrong with that. It's that one we want to cancel. What we want to do is we want to take the bridge and we want to put that there. So 100% of required water will pull off this route and go in there. Basically the statement that's making. But then only the available stuff will go in there. Okay, so once that's the case, it then means that this guy coming down here as the priority. And we want to cancel that one and say, copy, that is the priority for this. So then we can have more insulated pipe. And that's where basically this, the other end of that ends up too. So what do the two of these do? Again, in theory, there shouldn't ever be any excess to this. So both cases, they shouldn't, it's the keyword, shouldn't need it. So I'm going to roll without it. Let's try that as a test that can potentially fail. What I don't like about this setup is it doesn't feel like there's anywhere near as much sort of room in here, but I mean, it doesn't much matter. It's only going to fill the amount of room that there is. But otherwise, should be fine. Should be. Let's find out. So just to confirm, this water coming from the bottom will go up, it'll get sieved, it'll go through here, it'll turn 50% into this one, it'll then continue on its way up into here, or all the way up to there. Why it's currently not pushing up this way, I don't know. Possibly once it has this outlet, it might get moving again. We'll find out. Okay, now that's two parts of this. The next part is that we need to get this water in here down into here. Huge bunch of crude oil in there, but this is filtering out for crude oil. So it doesn't much matter if we get crude oil in here, it's just that we can apply it and then chuck it out where we want it. So, got a ladder that takes us all the way down here. So we can say build that ladder 2 more down. And then we can say dig. Dig your way down there. Seems like Ellie just coming down just for the dig. And disappearing again. Okay, so that means that this stuff will go down that way. We'll dig that out as well. We want to build a bit more ladder this way. Allow more of this stuff to get dug out. We'll dig out that there. Okay, we can see that this guy's got... Okay, so that's our current problem, is why is this guy not... why is this guy not pulling up? Like, why is that not continuing to push up? Is it just because this is prioritizing that? In which case, normally I would put a bridge just here to sort of push it along. I realize that may incorrectly translate for this thing to say prioritize going north. What if we say take that insulated pipe, deconstruct him, and then build this guy there? But I think that that's going to mean that he's going to prioritize sending water up unless blocked. But I mean, this thing isn't getting used 100% of the time anyway, so potentially it's gonna spend a lot of its time blocked anyway. So that's what we wanted to see. All of the water going through that guy wasn't cold enough, so it all did a second loop. It didn't have to like get jammed or anything, and then it is all successfully gone through that second time, and successfully. And you can see that that is 1 up. So it is successfully going 1 for 1. It's obviously not right now because that's blocked. But the small loop is working as long as that power is on. And I mean, that can't fill any further than what that guy's done. So its own little small loop seems to be working. This guy, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But otherwise, you can see that this is just going to sit blocked to the top there. And again, that's fine. We don't need it to get any higher than that. Okay, so we've got this running down here. Probably could ask for those to get dug out if they can reach them. And in here, we'll build a ladder that runs straight up there. And deconstruct that. I'll work out the details once that ladder's built. It would be great to actually get to see this functioning in full efficiency just to make sure it is going right. Okay, so here we go. So this guy, everything's coming up from the bottom. He's lost power again. His power's back. He's not liking the majority of what he's seeing. So it's all pushing through. And then I guess we're not going to see a conclusion there because he's lost power for too long again. I do wonder about getting rid of one of the three of these guys. That the amount of natural gas we can store here could potentially supply two of those guys through the dry months. Whereas with three, it means that they die too easily. It does also make me wonder if I should connect those guys to a smart battery as well. Although, are they? Maybe they are. Just to sort of lower the priority of using gas so that they will sort of have their reservoirs last a bit longer. Alright, ash cans on the way to get stuff done. Okay, so that's sort of, I guess, what we're doing with the our bridge builds and design there. Just give a quick look at other comments from the week. A couple videos back commented on put the aquatuners on closed loops, save power because the pumps won't have to refill the pipes. You can use radiate pipes to apply the cooling where you want and use a sensor to regulate the temperature. I don't follow that one because in, say, the case of this guy here, he's not using a pump anymore because he's just a circular sort of route where he's just pumping the water through himself. But with these two guys, they're using a like their water is ending up out the bottom. Like the aquatuners aren't there for the sole purpose of making power. They're there for making our cold water, like our drinking water, not too hot. So I'm not sure if that applies. I could be wrong though. What else we got? Oil wells are the other thing that's generating natural gas for you. Oil wells. So down the bottom, I assume that means... Whoa! Yes, sir. Yes, they are. Okay. What do we do with all this gas? So I kind of feel like... Should we be approaching the oil wells similar to what we're doing with these sort of rooms? Put the oil well into an enclosed room. We get a pump in there to suck the... like, to create a vacuum. Then we just take the natural gas. Thank you for pointing that out. It's Yep, alright, good. And validation as well on not using the power. On the incubators. Okay. So let's think about what we want to do here. Because the tricky thing is that we also would obviously need the liquid to escape out of the room. So we can't just... We can probably disable disinfect on these guys too if we've got that currently going. So, I mean, when it comes to our blocks, mesh tiles would let liquid or gas flow through, and then we've got airflow tiles that would allow air to flow through. Blocks liquid flow without obstructing gas. So again, not really what we want. We want one that's potentially the opposite way, something that would block gas, not liquid, which obviously doesn't exist. Right, but that's a project that we should be looking at. how can we harness all of this natural gas with the least amount of... I mean, I was going to say with the least amount of power used, but the idea would be that we're using the amount of power we could generate by having access to this natural gas. For example, I could, like, this guy over here, he's going to have to be something totally different. But what I could do is I could put a wall around these two guys, enclose them completely in a room together, and then put one liquid pump at the bottom that just pumps the crude oil out of the room and just sort of dumps it somewhere where this liquid pump can get it. And then we just have one what's in the room? Gas pump, and it can pump everything else out. Okay, so if we're laying this out, I'm gonna hit pause while we do this so that it's just no one comes down and starts trying to build this thing while we're just pondering this. So I could build, say, now, it doesn't matter if I block that, because this guy's... There's a ladder down here, so you can still get across and down to this guy if you need to. So say we do this, and then we go straight up here. To there. Run him along there. I'll cancel those. Type of tile are we using here? Let's go igneous rock. Not sure if that's actually changing. Okay, so say that. We then want to dig out, say, those ones there, because then you can just wander across the top of that. Then, in this top corner, we probably still want to set up something similar to what we have in our other airtight setups. So that would be walk in. How many steps do I usually give? Just one, so it's 3 thing across. So it's 2 steps to walk in, 2 down. No, you don't have to go 2 down. That's the 2 down to go. Let's go 1 more. 1 down, so you go down, down into the... And then you're in. So we can then say, cancel those 2. It's annoying because I don't want to... I think I'm going to have to say cancel to that bottom half stuff because it's... can't just build over it to say igneous rock. I've actually got to do it again to get igneous rock. So we'll go... like that. Say cancel to that guy. There's Ellie. Straight away ready to dig. And don't worry, Ellie, you're going to get to dig out everything else in this room. We're going to keep this room clean. What do we got? We've got 1 minute left. So this is definitely a future project that I look forward to, and I hope will be the answer to at least part of our natural gas problems. Looking at this guy and his natural gas over here, it's not the same level of like appealing. It feels like there's a lot less going on over here, but he has a lot less room. Guess what he's dealing in. He's got like 21 kilos of natural gas, whereas this guy's 4 kilos. So that guy over there is definitely doing his wait, what are you doing in there? Stinky. Stinky, don't do that to yourself. Oh my goodness, Stinky. Oh my goodness, Stinky. If they're quick enough, then it won't be. But I possibly could have done this in a way that could have, you might get there. Build fast. I'm gonna put a emergency on building that one block. And, emergency on building all of these, actually, because they can get there quick enough. We can actually, save ourselves having to shift any liquid in here. Yes, that's the one we wanted, Stinky. Dig that out, mate, and then we're laughing. Ah, you're a legend, Stinky. Perfect. Okay, so we've got that full of, I think, potentially what we'd want to do then is just for good measure real quick, is I'm just going to hit priority on that real quick. Just get him to do that, because I want to see if that pushes liquid forward, gets more of it to end up in here to sort of tighten that block a little bit better. Maybe let's do it one more time. Sorry, unless I declare this urgent. Doesn't seem like they'll, It's not a huge amount, but that's okay. So we'll say deconstruct those two, and we will say that they can dig out everything along the top there. Alright. Big plans, big plans. Feel like there was something else. Mentioned the artifacts from the rockets as well. I've overlooked the errands tab, which can occasionally be quite useful when wondering why isn't this getting done when it's getting done. Alright, so I have to remember that next time I need to look at the errands tab. Because that does sound like that's something that I obviously even complained about today. Why is no one but Stinky and Ellie the ones always seeming to do everything? Beautiful. Alright. I feel a lot of promise with this thing right here. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. And until next time, catch you later. See ya.